Hello, everyone. I'm grateful we can once again spend some quiet time together, reflecting on our hearts through the teachings of the Buddha. In the midst of our busy daily lives, I hope this moment offers even the slightest opportunity to pause and consider how we are living. The theme I'd like to talk about today is right livelihood. Among the Noble Eightfold Path, this teaching is perhaps one of the most closely tied to our everyday lives. When we hear the term right livelihood, it might sound a bit rigid or serious, but in fact, it speaks to something very practical and close to home. Just because the word livelihood includes the character for life, it doesn't necessarily mean we're talking about something dramatic or life and death. Rather, this concept refers to how we earn a living, what kind of work we choose, how we make a living, and with what attitude we go about our daily tasks. When the Buddha taught about right livelihood, he was often addressing lay people, that is, people like us who haven't renounced worldly life. That's because we, as lay people, are constantly engaging with others and society through our work. The choices we make about our livelihood are not merely personal matters. They influence society as a whole. So what kind of life is considered to be in line with right livelihood? The Buddha gave clear guidance about certain professions to be avoided occupations that involve taking life, trading in weapons, selling intoxicants or poisons, deceiving others for profit, or engaging in human trafficking. What these professions have in common is that they are built on the harm or suffering of others. The Buddha taught that when we earn a living, in a way that accepts another's pain as inevitable or justified, it clouds the heart and, in the long run, brings suffering back to ourselves. At this point, many of you may be wondering, isn't that too idealistic? Isn't it impossible to live like that in the real world? It's true, there may be very few jobs today that cause absolutely no harm or leave no footprint. Even working at a convenience store involves dealing with plastic and contributing to food waste. Office jobs use electricity and consume paper. Farming may require pest control that harms insects. In this light, it's hard to draw a clear line between what is right and what is not. That's where awareness and attitude become crucial. Buddhism isn't asking us for perfection. It doesn't require a job that never causes harm. Rather, what matters most is whether we are willing to reflect on our actions, whether we are mindful of the suffering we might contribute to, and whether we are striving within our means to reduce that suffering. There's a well-known story from the time of the Buddha that I'd like to share. One day, a man visited the Buddha. He was a butcher by trade, and he was deeply troubled by the fact that his livelihood required him to take animal lives. He was torn between the duty to provide for his family and the guilt of taking lives each day. He asked the Buddha, "Am I committing a sinful act through my profession? Will I fall into hell if I continue like this? But I cannot quit my job right away. What should I do?" The Buddha did not condemn him. Instead, with calm and compassion, he said, "Life comes with hardship. But the fact that you are troubled and reflecting deeply on your actions, this is already the first step toward right livelihood. Keep your heart pure and do the best you can in this very moment. If it is possible, gradually, move your life toward a path that reduces suffering." The man was deeply moved. From that day on, he was careful, never to waste any part of the animals he handled. He began offering daily prayers of gratitude for their lives. Eventually, after a few years, he transitioned to farming and began growing vegetables instead. This story teaches us that right livelihood is not about the type of job we have, but rather the attitude and awareness we bring to our work. Even if changing our job is not immediately possible, we can still transform our lives by changing our mindset and how we engage with our daily tasks. Right livelihood is also closely linked to our inner peace. For instance, even if someone earns a large profit by deceiving others or through dishonest means, they may be constantly tormented by anxiety or guilt. Sleepless nights may follow. On the other hand, a humble job that contributes to someone's well-being can bring deep fulfillment. It might make you look forward to waking up in the morning, or give you a sense of quiet satisfaction at the end of the day. Money, of course, is necessary for living, But how we earn money has a profound impact on our state of mind. Right livelihood is, in essence, a kind of wisdom that allows us to balance financial well-being with inner peace. So what can we do starting today? Begin by quietly reflecting on your current job. Who does it bring smiles to? Whose life does it support? On the other hand, does it cause trouble or harm to anyone? If your heart twinges even slightly when you ask these questions, there may be a clue there, an opportunity to make a change. It doesn't need to be a grand gesture. Even small improvements accumulated over time will lead to meaningful transformation. For instance, if you work in customer service, try to treat each customer with greater care. If you work in manufacturing, think about the people who will use what you make. If you work in administration, imagine those on the other side of the documents you process. These are small but powerful shifts in consciousness that we can start with. Another important aspect of right livelihood is gratitude. Every job plays a role in society. Streets stay clean because of sanitation workers. We receive what we need thanks to delivery personnel. Convenience store staff support our hectic lives with their presence. Having pride in our own work, while also appreciating the contributions of others, is part of practicing right livelihood. When we start to see society as an interconnected web of mutual support, our own role becomes clearer and more meaningful. And right livelihood is not just about job choice. It applies to small, everyday decisions like the things we buy. Are we purchasing what we truly need? Are we choosing environmentally conscious products? Are we supporting fair trade practices? And through that, the livelihoods of producers? Looking at our consumption through these lenses is another way to practice this teaching. We can also consider how we use our money. Instead of spending impulsively, we might choose to support things of real value, donating to organizations that help those in need, or participating in efforts that support our local communities. In this way, even our economic activity can contribute to a better world. Of course, we don't have to be perfect. We are all learning. What matters most is maintaining a sincere intention to move in a better direction, to make better choices tomorrow than we did today. That aspiration itself is an expression of the Buddha's central teaching, the heart of compassion. Sometimes we may struggle with the gap between ideals and reality, but those struggles are themselves important steps on the path of growth. Feeling torn is a sign that we're taking our actions seriously and trying to live mindfully. Right livelihood is not a strict set of rules imposed from outside. It is a living expression of our inner goodness, a desire to live well, to help others, and to reduce suffering in the world. That warm-hearted intention is the most precious thing of all. And when we live with such a heart, we may notice others responding with warmth as well. Good energy attracts good energy. The practice of right livelihood brings happiness not only to ourselves, but to those around us. To close, let's remember the two great pillars of right livelihood. First, being mindful of the impact our actions have on other lives. Second, keeping our own heart free from turmoil and guilt, choosing a way of life that supports peace of mind. These two pillars can guide our lives steadily and gently, like a firm, yet calm hand on our shoulder. I hope today's talk offers you a chance to reflect on your work and your daily life. There's no need to aim for perfection. Simply begin where you are, with what you can do, and take small steps toward a more mindful and compassionate way of living. Walk at your own pace, step by step. What matters most is that we keep walking, and in that journey, may we find a path that brings happiness not only to ourselves, but to others as well. That's all for today. If you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing to the channel and giving it a thumbs up. I'd also love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments section. Wishing you a peaceful and fulfilling day. Thank you for watching. Until next time, may your heart be at peace.